So I have my good friend Morris, and I have preached community. I have told parents for 2 decades now, have your kids in church, but don't just have them in church, involve them in the church. And my son Kip, he's 14. He got asked during a classroom situation, like, who's kind of the men that you look up to, and he mentioned two men from this church, and one of them was Morris, because Morris is kind of semi-adopted Kip and takes him to work in the ministry that we're going to be talking about. And so I just appreciate him more than you can imagine. Him taking my son in and modeling Christian ethics and Christian service. And so I just want to thank you in front of all these people and use you as an example of Paul and Timothy things are going on. So thank you, Morris. All right, so we are here to talk ramps.
Ramps.
And before the testosterone-fueled men get excited and think of motorcycles and jumping cars, what kind of ramps are we talking about?
Those would be fun to make.
Yeah, they would.
Matter of fact, my dad built a half-million ramp for my son. Nice. For his bikes and his skateboards. So, ramps. Fantastic subject for me. I love it. I got into ramps quite a few years back in the Kiwanis Club. We were looking for a project for the community, and a couple named David and Deborah Price ran across the ramp project, and they brought it to the club, and it was really great. We thought we'd do it.
Okay, so let's go ahead and clarify the ramps, because I gave that setup.
Okay, I built, the church built, the people here, Texas Ramp Project. A little history on that basically is we build ramps for people that need a safe way to get out of their home and into it. In and out both ways. But so that's basically what our whole project is about. Is helping people live a more comfortable, a better life in their homes.
Okay, so what are some of the medical needs that necessitate a ramp that you guys typically run across?
Amputees, people that are wheelchair bound, people that use walkers, use a cane. Anytime that there's a possibility that there's a falling issue with them, then they qualify. And qualification is extremely easy. Is that do you need it? Yeah, that's the basic qualifications.
So typically, always, these are people that have a medical need, in order to have access in and out of their home, they need a ramp.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So who taught you how to woodwork? How far back does this go in Morris Horton's life?
That goes back a long ways. My dad was a pretty good woodworker, and back in Midland, way back when, they had soapbox derbies. You babes know what that is. You build a car, and he got me into it and said, "We're going to do this." And he corrected that and said, "You're going to do this." And I did, and with hand saws and a brazing bit and some stuff, nothing like the tools we have today. I built a soapbox derby. It wasn't pretty by any means, but I did have to win 2 races. So it was a lot of fun, but he's the one that got me into it. I love it. He and I built a couple of things together when he was there with us. So he's the one that taught me to love wood.
Yeah. Do you ever smile or take any joy in the fact in knowing that Christ and his earthly father Joseph were both carpenters, and that you're using woodwork to serve people with.
Yes, I like that. As a matter of fact, you'll think back a few years, we had a vacation Bible school here, and we set up little kiosks, and I was the carpenter in that, and I built some little things. I mean, a old-fashioned handsaw, hammers, wood hammers, and things like that, and thinking of what they work with and what we have now, and it was a lot different, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, we say it a lot, you know, use your gifts to serve the kingdom, and there's more gifts than what you see on Sunday morning from 10:30 until 11:30, but you're out there doing it. And so, what is Austin Avenue's affiliation? What's the West Texas Ramp Builders affiliation? I know that sometimes the plaques change. How does that work out?
Well, the men's coffee at 8:30, actually 8 o'clock on Tuesday mornings.
They're early for everything.
Yeah, and I started talking about it, and some of them were interested in building, and we have a pretty good group. Matter of fact, if I look around here, there's probably about 10 people in this room that have helped build ramps, and we're always looking for more, and I think this is the time.
Well, normally we save that for the end, but let's just go ahead and do it now. So let's, do you want to call my name? Do you want to have them stand up?
Well, yeah, we can do that. Everybody that's had anything to do with the ramps at all, please stand up.
The people that want to stand up the least. I know that none of you stand up.
Yeah.
Can I share with people how much fun that it is to work with all of you?
Oh, yes.
Okay, for starters, I'm easily the least skilled person there. Kip is past me in skill level. Okay, like, I mean, sometimes they let me hand in the screw. I put a few in, but then somebody comes back to double check them. Okay, I'm the least skilled person there, but I love it. And it's mainly because of the banter. Now, if you didn't know how much love there was between these men, you would think that they were on the verge of a fist fight at all times. He said a quarter inch. Well, I meant a half inch. And it just goes on and on. And it is magical. It is beautiful. It is wonderful. They know what the other one is thinking, even if they told them something different. And they'll get to going at it back and forth. And I guess I'm going to say his name. Rex Coleman will just quietly walk away from the conflict and just go solve the problem. And after everybody else has argued and thrown tools and gone back and forth and remeasured, and they finally get to it to fix it, and somehow it just magically got fixed. And Rex just goes on and goes about his way. What's that? It is so much fun. And I promise you, it's only the leaders, it's only the highly skilled people that get into the arguments. If you're like me and you're just a total screw up, they give you a pass on everything. So it's safe for you if you're not a carpenter. Okay, I know this firsthand. So there's actually a build on Saturday at 8:30.
Right.
So call you if they want to go. It's close to
Call
Zephyr.
me. It's 9/10 of a mile from the Zephyr Cemetery down 183 on the right. I mean, if you need more directions than that, call me.
Yeah.
But we would love to have anybody who would like to come, see what it's about.
Yeah.
It is fun. We have a lot of fun doing it.
We go to Dairy Queen after some builds.
Some builds we go. It just depends on where it's at. Out the lake, we may go to restaurant out there. Zephyr, we may go to, Diamond Har. Who knows where we may end up. So Blanket, just wherever.
Okay, so where do you get the referrals from for who needs a ramp? How does that work?
Whoop.
Let's call for a ramp build right now. That's how it gets the referrals.
Yes, Jim. One more. Um, yeah,
Rex will tell you. Don't worry.
yeah,
Ask Rex.
and it's,
So the
Jim, it's 12576, Highway 183 South. Now,
all right. So how do you get referrals?
most of the referrals, all of them basically come through a medical facility of some sort or a church.
Okay.
We have found that is the best for us. I mean, whether it's CMS Health Care, any of those. Matter of fact, I can see this one we're going to build. Yeah, maybe I won't. This one was it's well, different.
But it's from
Maricopa, but yeah, it's a different source.
yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. So when so you get the address, you get the person's name. So what happens after that? You do a scouting mission. You drive by it.
Janice usually goes with me. 'Cause a lot of times there's ladies that we go and talk to, and some of them are single. And so she goes with me, and we sit and visit with the client, and it may be a 30-minute visit, maybe an hour. We one very memorable one. We walked in, and there were some cars around there, and we walked in, knocked on the door, and Afghanistan, they guided us in, and we started talking about it, and they said, they just passed away. So, but the family opened up and to us, which was just amazing. We got to share some of their joy, and they were, and it was, joy and sadness. But we get to see a lot of different things. So,
That's special. So when you drive by the house the first time, can you see the ramp in your eye because you've done this for so long? Are you like, oh yeah, that's probably going to go this way, even before you bring a tape measure out?
yes, I do. I've seen some. I've had Jim, Randy have gone out. We've just done. I've done what we call the pre-after, and I'll look at it and I'll holler at Jim or Randy or Rex or others. Will go out and then we'll do a deep look at it, and they come up with something totally different than what I was thinking. Fortunately, it's better.
Okay. So you guys follow the ADA requirements, or is there there's some guidelines that width, height,
Yes.
rise, run,
Well,
can't fit in a speed ramp at a 15-degree angle?
yeah, we look as ADA as a guideline. We can't always build ADA. Start with, there are no ADA guidelines for a private residence. So unless, there's some other things that go into it, but we do use that as our guide. And sometimes we don't always do it exactly because they don't have the property line, they don't have different circumstances that, if I didn't, I couldn't build anything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So how much does a typical ramp cost? Just ballpark, if you were just going to go and buy the materials straight out.
well, I did some figuring on sort of that, this between $700 and $900 a ramp.
And that's in material cost.
That's materials only.
So ballpark, if an owner of a home was going to go pay a contractor or a professional carpenter to build that, ballpark, what's the labor in addition to materials?
Doing the labor, you figure most carpenters run about $50 an hour now. So you take that same ramp, time-wise in it, about 35 hours, maybe a little more depending on it. If it's 6 foot ramp, it's gonna be more. If it's a 6 foot ramp, less. But, basically, you're looking at another $1,000 to $1,500.
Yeah. So easily, we're talking multiple thousands of dollars on average for each ramp, like $2,000 to $3,000.
Right.
That's a blessing to somebody that's having a medical need. That if they're getting a ramp built, they probably recently have had a lot of expenses on the medical side. So you guys are really filling a need here.
I think we are. I mean, we've had some, we can see where there are, real issues with the people. And we have had some that just, they'll come out after the ramps there and built and tell them we have 3 requirements when we come to build. I need electricity, I need water to drink, and I need a picture of them with the ramp. And, some of them have tears in their eyes, they can't believe what we've given them, and that just, it just makes, I think, everybody happy.
Any story without naming names, but any story stick out to you over the years?
Well, we built one out close to the Coleman County line out there for a gentleman and his wife, and he had an attack rooster. Right. So he tried to put him up, wasn't able to. So we had somebody on duty with a shovel to get that to there was another gentleman that had probably about 30 pigs running around loose around his property. That was interesting. I mean, it's so.
Is that like when the Jews were rebuilding the wall and they were working it with one hand and had a sword in the other hand? Is that?
Yes.
Well, I thought we'd tell stories to get people to want to sign up for this,
Okay.
but now everybody's scared of when animals attack videos.
Yeah.
Is bailing out.
But most of them you can have. Oh, I guess not any real issues with it. We had one. Now this is built August last year, I think, wasn't it, Jim? It was about 106 degrees out there, and we had 8 people building on that one, and that was what we call an emergency one. Lady couldn't get out of the nursing home without a ramp. So we built her a 58-foot long ramp.
How many turns does that have?
That had 4 in it.
Because they're not allowed to do a straight shot because if the wheels or the brake is released or something, you don't want the wheelchair to go 58 feet.
Right.
And so like I didn't know this guy, so maybe everybody else here knows this, but there's a ramp, there's an angle, and then a landing. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, after the ramps, you can only make them like 24 feet long at the longest run at an angle. Then you have to build what they call a resting area. Then we build a flat, and then it continues. We do that. We built zigzags, particularly the long ones. We built the longest one we built was 62 feet, I think. And that one had a kink in it. So
Had to go around a tree or what?
a huge cactus bush.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I mean, just wherever we can do and whatever we can do.
Yeah. Any biblical teaching that kind of powers your ministry? Any texts that you reflect on?
I can say works won't get us to heaven.
Yeah.
We're told to do works.
Yeah.
And this is one I enjoy. And I think though I do get very excited at times, 2 days before the bill, I get sort of antsy about make sure I've got enough people there, make sure I've got the wood there, make sure, and
How many ramps have you built?
been doing this. Last year, we built 11, 360 feet of ramps last year. A year before that, we got 13. Year before that, it was like 9. So I built probably close to 100 ramps.
Yeah. And you still get antsy about it though.
Oh, yes.
Really?
Oh, yes. Every time I get antsy about it, have I got it right? Have I got everything that Jim needs? Randy did, Randy just said, you did it again. No, but, it's a lot of fun. We're not bashful about talking about God on the job sites. We usually pray with the people Janice and I do a lot when we go to do the interviews. So it's and I guess one of the things that we mentioned the cost of it, but when we talk about it, I tell people, I says, these ramps run about $30 a running foot. And I can just see their face. And I said, what I talked to you today will be the last time you hear anything about money mentioned. Because you don't know anything. Nothing. And that the men that come, women, and our youth here, we've got one here right now. We've had a bunch of others that gone kit. They've gone with us, they've built, they've done what we did call a pre-build, going out. We get a bottle of water, folks. That's what we get.
Yeah. It's awesome. So I'll tell you a Bible story that I thought about, and that's in Mark 2, when Jesus is in the house and the house is packed, and there's a man who is crippled, and his friends carry him, and they dig out the roof and they drop him in, and Jesus ends up forgiving the man of his sins. He heals him too, but it says when they saw their faith. And I just think about you guys as being almost the modern day equivalent of helping people that have a disability, and you're going there and you're showing them Jesus. You're showing them what the church does, and that's to help the least of these. Jesus says, when I was hungry, when I was thirsty, when I was in need of clothing, when I was sick, when I was in prison, you came and visited me and you took care of me. And I just think that that's the type of things that you guys are doing, and that it's awesome. And that I'm just so proud to be part of a congregation that has people that get out there and do that, who freely have been given, and now they freely give. And I just think it's awesome.
Let's talk about money. Well, it does take money to do this. And there are some very gracious trust funds and stuff that donate back to the Texas Ram. Some that donate to Brown County only. Person says, I want to help. How can I? I says, get a $5 bill. I mean, whatever will go forward and help us in that aspect. Yeah. So we go from there.
How's it feel? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
How's it feel when you drive by and you see a ramp that you built a year ago, 2 years ago?
I love it. I can take you through four real quick. There's one going down 4th Street. And it's got somewhere around the 2700 block and it's green right now. So it'll be on the west side of the street.
Yeah.
So, yeah, going by and looking at them, seeing and seeing that they're being used, that is really, really good.
So what impact has this had on your own faith?
Sometimes it's trying for me. It's not that we're doing good, because we are, but I have to watch myself not get angry at the families sometimes.
Yeah.
The building is on. And I have to tell myself, I'm not building it for the family. I'm building it for this person. They're the one that needs it.
Yeah.
And, saying that, and that I don't back off and say, like, yeah, they got a lot of people that can come out and build this,
Yeah.
Or whatever. So it's a test for me that I have to work through.
People's lives are messy. When you step in to help, you sometimes step into a mess.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a group that we forgot to mention that comes and helps, and that's some of our uniformed men. How did that connection get started?
Well, I'm not sure who or how started inviting some of the police officers to our men's morning breakfast. And we were talking about building a ramp. One day, and they got looked like they were interested. I said, well, what can we do? I said, show up. And this comes into one really great story on that. We had quite a few of them that had been. Matter of fact, one of the officers that sort of headed the death had a major heart attack here about 2 weeks ago. And he's doing well. But he's on that, and he's building a ramp Baker Street, I believe is what it is, on out there in here in town. And there were 3 or 4 officers that were helping us. And then I started looking up, going around. Every police car in Brownwood was there.
I think I was on that one.
Yes, you were. Yeah, every police car in town. We had officers in uniform out there, black, hot uniform.
It was in the afternoon.
Yes. And what was fun was watching people drive by slow. What's going on?
Because you think there is that major sting going down. You're like, El Chapo is in that house. Every cop in Brownwood is here, and then you show up and the thing in their hand is not a gun. It's a Ryobi drill.
Right.
It's a commercial there, Ryobi.
Yeah. So. Yes, we did. Yeah. And the chief said he wants to come out and run, but he hasn't showed up yet.
All right. Anything else that we want our people to know about the ramp building ministry?
This is a little placard that we put on every ramp that the church is involved in building. And it says, Texas Ramp Project, built by the Texas Ramp Project in Austin Avenue Church of Christ. Jim printed those up for us and got it, and I think that's a statement for our community that anybody walks by that and see that. And I think it's good for us, myself, and everybody else that, yeah.
All right, well, let's show this picture. You want to give that context, or do you just want to write out on that?
Also, got you, Jim. No, this was a ramp we built for a lady. Henderson, I think, was the last name on that. And this was a difficult ramp. It had some angles in there, and the way I designed it just didn't work. And on getting the angles, because we were switching a turn and an angle and a drop, and it took us a good while to finally figure it out. And Warren finally figured out what we were doing wrong. So, but it was a lot of fun, and two great guys that were there. So,
Absolutely. All right. All right. What'd she say? Well, can I pray for your ministry?
please.
Okay. Lord and God, we just want to thank you for giving us abilities and talents. And Lord, we know that you have blessed many of the individuals that are gathered here in this room, Lord, in different ways to go out into the world to make your name known, Lord. Tonight, we just want to thank you for the men that go build ramps, Lord, the ones that are working the saws and the drill guns and the tape measures, Lord. Thank you that through those material things that they are making known the truth in the spiritual realms, and that's that your Son is on the throne, Lord. And so I thank you for Morris. I thank you for all the workers. I thank you for all the people who support the work financially and in other ways, Lord, and just pray that they continue to go and build ramps to make you known. It's in the name of Christ that we pray. Amen.